So, oh, there we go. Woo. Alrighty. So, uh, by the way, Julie, thank you so much for coming to the leonlagrey show, and also you're kind of like my first guest in a long time. So I
Wow.
want, yes, first guest in a long time, and I
Okay.
figured you'd be you'd be kind of one of my main people to interview for a long time because I want to just get into because so I know you do a lot of traveling. You do a lot of traveling photos,
Yeah.
which I see. I always see that a lot. And
I
so
love
tell me,
traveling.
yes, yes. So it's really cool because I was like, you know what? The first time I met you, I don't know how I followed you, but I don't know if it was from if it was from the Trump if it was from the Trump Twitter
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, yeah, I think so too. So I was like, oh, okay. But so my very first question, I have to say though, as a someone that does traveling, in here in the stateside, like, what do you like about the United States in compared to Germany, your home country?
Well, I like the people. They're very different.
Mm,
They're just so friendly and helpful.
mm,
Like if I come to something like a bus station and random people, they just start talking to you. Or if I'm at a shop, they ask me, "How are you?" It's very different when, yeah, when
I
I'm at
see.
home. Like everybody just is like keeping to themselves, which is it's a lot of difference.
Oh, really? Mm. Okay, gotcha.
But very, very friendly and helpful people.
Gotcha. Yeah, there are a lot of friendly people in America, which I've noticed a lot too. But when I visited Germany this year, I've noticed that too. Like there, some of them are into themselves, but I noticed that some of them were able to engage with me too, which was really cool. So, but not all of them though. But I do see that too. Uh,
Yeah.
and now with this trip that you've had, that you've been going through now, is this kind of like an escape, a nice escape from your home country to be just to be here?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh,
I've
okay,
always wanted to go to America, and now I'm here. It's awesome.
awesome. Okay, cool. Well, but you haven't fully escaped yet, right? So not as of yet. Okay.
No, I'll probably go back next year.
Oh, gotcha. So so tell me, are you just like here for like business, or what do you do for a living anyways?
Oh, actually, I work at exhibitions and just do like sales relations.
Okay.
So in Europe, I used to be like in a different country or at a different place like almost every week.
Mhm.
So I got to travel a lot for that.
Oh, okay. I see. So you do a lot. So you do a lot of traveling, and okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, great. My phone just dropped. Oh, oh, goodness gracious. All right, good. My phone isn't damaged. Whew, thank goodness.
Good.
Because I had my phone vibrating, and I was like, no, I can't have any more vibrations in my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because what I've noticed with your home country, and what was it like? What was it I remembered? Like, I remembered there was a lot of those old architectures, which was really nice too. And I noticed like the stateside, a lot of the newer homes are built like very modern. It's very built differently compared to it. So it's that's what I see too. So, which I have to say, right behind you is actually quite different. So it's really
Oh,
neat.
yes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
sure.
We have a lot of these old buildings from 1600, 1500 something.
Yeah, yeah. It's very unique too.
Yeah.
So, and so I wanted to ask you too. So right now, have you always done exhibitions like the exhibition works? Because I checked into your blog. I think it was before you changed the name from the Fair Lady, or
Yeah.
okay. So tell me about that.
Exactly.
What was it about? Like, what was it about too? Like, did you always blogged about it, or
Um, no, so actually it was like 3 years ago that I started my job and
Mhm.
the traveling. And before that, I just had something like a fashion blog, and I used to write about all the outfits I was wearing.
Oh,
But
okay.
then I kind of like changed into traveling, and I didn't really care about like the fashion side anymore.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now, did you
like that.
always wanted to pursue modeling or in your previous life, or what was it about it too?
Yeah, I think so. Uh, I didn't really have a plan. No.
Never did? Oh, okay. Oh, so it was just kind of like a start, basically. So you said,
Yeah,
okay, I wanted to do it, but
do something.
then things, a lot of things just changed, basically. So yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Oh, alrighty. Well, yeah, I makes sense. I mean, we've always had our goals in mind, and then life comes at you, and things do change,
Yeah,
absolutely. So
exactly.
yeah,
That's
so
what happened.
absolutely. Now, now do have one more question about Germany, and I will continue a lot with more on United States questions, basically going on forward with that too. Now, because I know that I know you're here in this part of the world. I'm sure you don't want to try to talk too much about Germany and everything like that. It's like, oh, I want to kind of escape that out of my mind and basically. So about because this is kind of the thing I've noticed. The political climate is very different over there than here because I know it's kind of funny because when I was in my trip, I visited my friend for the first time over there over his place. He was kind of bad mouthing about Trump and how I have to ask you how do the Germans look? I don't know how your family and friends like talk about the Americans in general. Like how are they when they talk about the United States? And do they talk greatly about us? Is it or downly about us? What's your experiences like when you have conversations with that too?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I think most Germans they dislike Trump,
Really?
and they talk really bad about him. Like I think they don't really understand him because they don't think like Americans.
Mm,
And what I've noticed is that they're just scared of him, and so they try to kind of like insult him and talk
mm,
bad about him without knowing what he actually wants to say. So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's I've noticed that with some of my American friends, like, and that's kind of the thing. Like, I have to say though, I could not talk about anything positive about Trump when I was there. So
Yeah.
so I
Exactly.
think it's almost the same. It's the same way
Yeah.
between. So okay, gotcha. So
Yeah.
and
And
I
I don't
try.
understand why you're scared of him. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, and
To
and that's
say.
yeah, it is weird too because my friend kind of down talked him when he brought up all this like we were going to Alexander Platz. I
Yeah.
remember, and it's actually very nice too. By the way, I love going to Berlin and Alexander. It was kind of like the highlights of the trip. By the way,
Yeah.
and it I remember we were going yeah, so we were going to head into Alexander Platz, and he was telling me, it's like, he brought up Trump also, and here in my mind is like, oh please God, I didn't want to talk to him about him, and it's like, well, and he says like so this is kind of the thing I get a lot, which is like from from him. He said like, well, he's a bigot, he's a homophobe,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like saying that same gibberish, and it's like, well, I have, yeah, and I have to, and I said to him, so well, tell me, well, what do you know of any of his positions?
Yeah.
And he says, I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
I think
was
basically that's the problem.
so basically I brought up one position I know, and he said, so okay, well, I'll tell you, he did take down the visas for to make the travel down to Brazil. In fact, he even talked to Jair Bolsonaro about, which I think
Yeah.
in my view, he that was kind of a good highlight about Trump. I would give credit basically, and even though like as I myself, like I have supported him for a good while, and there are some things I don't agree with Trump, but I am gonna say that I do accept him as my president,
Yeah.
basically. So I cannot continue to badmouth him, even though I didn't vote for him the first time. I think the 2020s at this point, there's really no position in my mind. I will say that I'm gonna have to vote 2020 because there's no one else that's gonna go against
Right.
Trump at this point, and it's hard for me. And like even as a American, I said, okay, I'm just gonna have to do what's best for the country and just keep him for another year, another four, 2 terms at this point. It's like, all right, basically.
Yeah.
So that's how that's kind of how I feel about it as well. So
Right.
yeah, but now and then let's see. I already talked about my highlight, which was Alexander Platz of this year. Now, what's your
Yeah.
highlight about it? Because I know you said that you did like Miami. I did see some Missouri pictures.
Oh yeah.
Not
I love
not
Missouri.
you love Missouri.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, what do you, so what parts have you been to Missouri? And like, have you been to Jefferson City, Kansas City,
I
uh,
didn't make it to Kansas City, but I was in Columbia.
Columbia?
Yeah.
Okay.
And St. Louis.
Mm.
So that was very nice.
Oh, okay.
Met lots of great people too.
I heard there are just amazing people over there too.
Yes.
That's why I've noticed. I
Yeah.
want to go to Miss. I've only been to Branson, Missouri, where when I was younger, and I went to the magic show. That was kind of the.
Hey.
It's very neat. In
Cool.
fact, the magic show, if you ever do get the chance, I don't know if your job lets you, of course, but
It's
but
hard, but yeah,
but,
I'm
uh,
trying.
yeah, trying. Okay, yeah, absolutely too. In but Branson is kind of was one of my highlights. Like the magic show is very interesting. But Missouri, cool. Now tell me about Miami. Like, what things have you liked about Miami?
I like the I like the basically the beach. It was very beautiful.
Oh, okay.
I stayed in South Beach.
Oh, very sweet. Okay.
Yeah, I love the people.
Oh, okay.
They were just crazy. It
Mm.
was just a very lively place. So
Oh.
I stayed there for about a week and I had a great time.
Mm. All right. Nice. Oh, South Beach. I used to live there when I was younger, so it is
Yeah,
very nice though.
it's lovely.
Yeah. So the only thing I don't miss about it is the traffic, basically.
Yeah.
And there's times I don't never want to get inside a car because I know the
Yeah.
driver the Lyft driver, the Uber driver next to me will go nuts and hits the brakes so hard.
Yeah.
Ah, because
Crazy.
my head would be like flying like
Right.
oh my gosh. But it's that's cool though. And now with the job as as you work as an exhibitionist, now is traveling like one of your big things that you love to do is take a lot of pictures and post up on Instagram everywhere you go.
Yeah. I love taking pictures.
Oh, okay.
So I'm so far behind though.
Oh, okay.
I'm still posting pictures from 3 weeks back
Oh,
because I'm always traveling to a new place and it's kind of difficult to sort it all out after. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
I imagine
Yeah.
I really do because you have so much pictures in your phone you
Yes.
leave and you leave them in your phone for so long. He's like, oh dang, I forgot to post this up in one day and after
Right.
that. So
Right.
exactly. Yeah, I think there's been a moment my travel has been it's been like that. So, and I always said, oh man, I forgot to post more pictures in my train pictures too. But
Yeah.
but one thing did remember when I was in the Bon, that's it. What was that train that it's like this electrical train? I forgot the name. It was I'm gonna call it the DB for just for the sake of thinking about this, I'm gonna say the DB train or the Bonds train. But however, I was inside the train, and here I am waiting in the DB train here, and then I was for some reason I made the wrong stop, and I stopped all the way to Earfront, and I was like, what am I doing?
Oh.
What am I really doing? and I stopped Air France. It's like this is not the right stop, and and yeah, and I had to wait, and so I pretty much had to wait for the other for the correct train to head over to Berlin. So I went over there, and by the time I went over that train, found the correct train, and I remember I was so dead tired, and the only thing I heard was this woman. She almost fell right flat in her face, and I end up grabbing her across her chest, and she was
That's funny.
about to fall off right in her face, almost. And I was like, oh, and she got so scared because she was gonna like fall with a bloody nose. I remember in my yeah, because she was got so scared. She like, oh my, thank you, sure. Oh my god,
That's
it
okay.
was, it is so funny, and I couldn't forget that, and I was so dead tired. It
Can
pretty much
imagine.
going from Frankfurt am Main, traveling all the way to Berlin that evening. By the way, very exhausting trip too, and I was like,
Oh,
so it was crazy. So
yeah.
that was kind of my highlights with Germany, and I just couldn't forget it. It was like, gosh,
Yeah.
I didn't know much German, so I had to translate it on my phone and I pretty much put her on speakers just so she can hear it, and said
Yeah.
that and listen, I said, listen, I don't speak much German, but I wanted to say that you are very very welcome too. So she did understood everything, and she was very grateful that I pretty much ended up saving her life at that point, if it wasn't for me, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it is. But however, my
Sorry.
so let's see here. My other question is, now, do you ever imagine living in the stateside? And I know since we did talk to over at Instagram, a lot over there too. Now, do you ever see yourself moving to the United States at some point, or is that just somewhere further in the future?
Well, I love the United States and I love living here.
Oh, di-
I don't know where I want to live in the future, to be honest.
really? Mm,
I'm just gonna see what happens.
gotcha. Okay. Eh, yeah, it's a big place, so I
Yeah,
get it.
it's awesome.
Yeah, but
So many
well,
states,
awesome. Hmm.
there's so many states and so much to see. So
Yeah, yeah, 50 states. Yeah,
it's
I
the best.
look as an American myself. I haven't been to all 50 states. I've only been to like seven or eight states,
Okay.
basically. So, so I haven't done a lot of traveling, and which I should be, but which is
Yeah.
something I want to. Hmm.
Yeah.
But with overall I got pretty much got about three to four more questions, and hopefully I won't try to chew your ear off just like your parents. So, so I I try not to.
Sorry.
Hey, it's all good though. It's all good. Let's let's take a look here. So one of my questions here is what when you I'm going to go back to with the questions with doing a follow up with Trump though. When you first heard of uh, when did you first heard of Trump, and how did you get into our elections? Did you were
Oh, wow.
you a because I know a lot of people in the stateside they think about the Russian bots and things like that too, and I have to say though you're way too pretty to be a Russian bot. So
Well, thanks.
yeah,
Well, I first heard of him, I think it was April 2016.
okay,
And I just thought, okay, well, he's someone different.
yeah,
And later, I think it was, yeah, it was still April. I saw one of his books in a store.
mm,
And I was feeling kind of down at that moment. And the book was called Never Give Up.
mm,
And I just had to buy it because I liked that title. So I just read it and I found it very uplifting.
okay,
And since then I was like, okay, he's very intelligent. He's just cool. So
yeah.
I got to follow the elections and I really supported him from that moment on.
Oh, okay. and so that was kind of the what attracted you with Trump for that moment too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Like I've heard of him. I mean, thing is, a lot of Americans like me, I heard of him ever since his reality show. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking to a young guy. Like I'm only what
Yeah. I don't.
20. I'm only
I don't
28.
know that.
Yeah. So I don't go that far back because I know that he did a lot of real estate, and
Yeah,
that was
that I always knew that. I always knew about him since I was a kid, I think, but I
yeah.
didn't really know anything about him though.
Yeah. So
I just knew the name.
right. So yeah, it was I was a little kid myself, like, and I've
Yeah.
heard of him, like, of the reality show. I forgot the reality show name, but he was very big in the 2000s with the
The
reality show.
Apprentice. You mean
Huh?
The Apprentice?
The Apprentice. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Um
Watch some of it on YouTube later.
yeah. And I haven't watched it
Yeah.
because at that time I was into like music. I was into rock music,
Yeah.
uh, and I was just into music back then in general, like in video games. So I was like wasn't really like a big real estate person. And look, no kid under 15 years old is gonna get into business, you know. And when I first heard about it, I was like, man, him in a reality show, that's just the most ridiculous thing
Yeah.
to see that too.
I
But
can imagine.
yeah, but now I mean, for me, I can take it seriously since he is a president after all.
Yeah.
And, but like I've said before, um, I don't take his position, all his positions by heart. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, I'm sure that with the event, definitely want to get into the your uh your time with the rally. What's the rally like for you, and was it really packed? What they say on
Uh,
the internet?
yeah, it was packed. At first, it wasn't that crowded. Like I arrived 1 hour before the gates opened, and there was plenty of space. But later, it got more and more people, and in the end, it was really packed. It was full. Like
Wow,
you couldn't even find the free seat. Like it was that crowded.
wow.
Yeah,
I
it's pretty
I
awesome.
never yeah I never been to a political rally,
Yeah, it
so
was amazing.
uh, that's awesome though. But yeah, well, I'm actually glad because I think one of these days I will try to at least go to a political rally. Because
Yeah,
the only one thing is, though, I never done it because you hear so many news about the rallies, and you hear people that they get into some rallies are really crazy this time of year, and I think throughout the 2020s. We're definitely going to get more. It's going to get more crazy where
yeah.
you got the Democrats and the Republicans go just fist fighting each other at this
Oh
point.
yeah.
Yeah, so and then of course you got people like the internet like to throw fist fight through with words on Twitter, and it's just going to be another nasty battle too. So now I have checked on like in your elections and stuff like that in German. Is it really wild over there, especially like the political sphere, basically?
No, not at all.
Really? Okay. It's not as it's not as bamboozle or really just a killing joke basically. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's very boring actually.
Oh,
Over there, it's always the same.
uh,
There's no variety or anything.
ugh. Yeah. I watched it, and I watched the Canadian election. I just thought it was boring as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I quite honestly, like, that's why, as for me, like, I couldn't even sit still, listening to people. And it's like, oh, what
Yeah.
is this? But I figured when I heard of Trump when he said about the when he was talking about the economy, things of that matter, I thought I knew he was much more serious. Even though I couldn't at first, I said I'm not going to vote for Trump because he was something. He was like, oh, this is he must be there as a joke or
Yeah.
whatever, and that's my feelings towards it back then. But at the same time, I knew there was a lot of conservatives that were getting attacked, and I said there's no way I want to act like the people on the left, and I hate to be those people. So yeah, definitely too, and especially I know my parents, they voted for Trump. So I mean, of course, they were coming from a very conservative background when they left a communist country. So I can see why. But yeah,
I can totally understand that.
yeah. So because my mom and my dad actually known a lot more about Cuba because he left when he was like very young. I would say about 9 years old. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, 9 years old, and he had to fly a plane. And this is kind of the funny thing about how people joke around to Cubans. They said that all Cubans left on a boat, and that's not true. Now,
It's not true. Wow.
that's not all of. There's some truth to it, but not all of it is true though. The If you're talking about the boats, the time of the Marietas, that's back in the 80s. That's when things started to happen really bad with Cuba economy. But my dad left on a plane and flew all the way to Spain, and then from Spain to the United States. So that's why you see a lot of Cubans that are very very conservative. So definitely,
Yeah, I get the point.
yeah. So so and I obviously your views now I noticed with a lot of Germans, like my friend, I could tell he's very liberal because his stance are like one of his stance he talks about the environmentalism, he talks about
Yeah,
LGBT and so and now
most
how do you
Germans are.
oh yeah. Now how do you fit into your views? Like like physical conservative or very are you partially conservative or liberal? How do you how could you do you see that on your end?
No, that's pretty tricky.
That's very tricky. Yeah.
I think like I'm not in that way conservative that I say like what people have to do or what they have to think. Like
Mm,
everyone can do
mm,
what they want, be with who they want. I don't care about that.
yeah. The
Just
whole oh gotcha.
just lots of people they want to change things and it gets really crazy and sometimes it's just too much. So
Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause- yeah,
in that
I
way I'm
gotcha.
kind of conservative because
Kind of conservative.
yeah.
Okay. Mm, okay. Well, I would say good. All right. Well, I'm very moderate when it comes to my views, but
Yeah,
kind of like the in the middle of it too. I
yeah,
share some liberal values and some conservative values, but
yeah,
I'm not
me too.
but I don't like to be one sided all the time too because I know I come from parents that are very I know my dad's are very Catholic, so it's like yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, but I know a lot of their views has changed and they went from Catholicism to Christianity. So it's like, yeah,
Mm.
from all the changes they've gone through for many years. But yeah, absolutely. Um, but absolutely though. So tell me how. Looks like it looks very very great over there. How's it looking
It
over
is.
there?
It's so cloudy today.
Yeah.
Like, where's the sun?
Where's the sun? Uh, oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I you get your sunny days and you
Yeah.
get your cloudy days, and that's what I
It's
noticed about
perfect
Florida.
yesterday. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, but today it looks like Germany.
Oh boy, I could I can imagine for sure. Oh, but so tell me, like, what do you like to do outside your like outside of work? What do you like to do like for leisure and things like that too?
Basically, whenever I get the time, I travel.
Okay.
And if I can't travel, I just like to read books,
Mm,
like biographies or just learn new stuff about history, or I just watch videos on YouTube
mm,
that, yeah, learning new things. It's
me too.
fun.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's cool. Alrighty. Awesome. Well, I wanted to get back onto you because I know it's been many, many weeks, and I definitely want to grow my podcast a lot more because even though basically I want to spread out, not just talking about technology, but about people in general and things like that too, because
That's cool.
that's something I want to grow into. Because sure, I definitely want to talk outside of technology because technology can be boring, but I've noticed that people are just the best thing about
Yeah,
themselves, and you can always learn with different people and different
absolutely.
perspectives. Yeah. Absolutely too. As far as of right now, since I know work is keeping you busy, and Sunday is like the only time you're off right now. Uh,
Yeah, it's crazy right now.
Now, as far I know, you say you like reading. Do you ever blog a lot, or are you just like not so much?
Yeah, not so much right now. I'm trying to find the time and to make a real plan
Hmm.
to do that regularly.
Okay, that's cool.
We just need to figure that out.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to make the time, honestly,
Yeah.
and I know like I'm trying to find time to do everything, my podcasting, my blogs, things like that too. So, and it's hard to grow when you got so much going on your plate too. So,
Right.
yeah,
Live
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely too. So, well, definitely. I know you got definitely got a lot of followers. But however, if whenever I get a chance, I'll definitely get this post up about on YouTube and and on my podcast. So it's gonna be both available on video and audio. So,
Okay.
but I'll definitely let you know. I'll let you know when it's gonna be up to. So, yeah, because I know you don't do a lot of video interviews. So,
Yeah, I would like to do that more actually.
yeah.
Yeah, obviously people doing it. I'm like, I should actually do the same.
Mm.
Kind of never get to it.
Yeah, yeah. It isn't bad. Like once you know how to use the equipment,
Yeah.
the mic, which I can't pull out to show you because it's really attached to the desk right
Okay.
now. So, but once you have like the proper equipment, you'll be like set to go at this point too.
Yes.
And absolutely, because you kind like at first when I started doing Cami, I was like so afraid to be on camera. So,
Yeah, I can
yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, but then you have to practice and kind of you think, okay, this is something you cannot be afraid of.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're when you're doing like face to face interviews, you're just talking to anyone else basically. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
It's quite
and
fun.
and it's quite fun too. Because honestly, like I as an independent person that talks like independently and that doesn't have like a big budget, like you, I know you're a Tommy Lauren fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I love her. I
Yeah.
just met her for the second time.
No. I wanted to
She's
go down real
awesome.
quick. Yeah, that's real cool too. I've been following her for some time, so she really is awesome.
Yeah.
So definitely like you said, she's really cool. She's like it's very down to earth, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to say that. She's so down to earth.
Oh,
She's very appreciative of her fans, so she
I
takes
know.
the time to talk to you and to take pictures and to sign everything.
Oh, gosh. I mean, there are some things like with Tommy, like I have to say, like she is a really sweet on person. But I remember when the conservatives got on her butt about how she's like, oh, she's pro-choice. I kind of
Yeah,
thinking, well, come on, you can't agree with everybody, you know.
exactly.
At least for goodness sakes, I mean, she is in our side. To be honest with you, because honestly, she's not a radical, a
Yeah,
radical, right? Basically, so but that's
she just
cool though.
had her own mind, and I think that should be okay.
Definitely. But that's awesome though. Ooh,
Yeah.
I hear you got a lot of kids in the background. Oh, well, that must be so fun. Oh heavens, the times I'm missing out being as a kid. So, uh,
Yeah,
so tell me, just ask you and just to let your followers know. But how old are you, by the way?
I'm 26.
26.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh no way. Okay. All right. So we're not that far apart from age. Okay.
How old are
Gotcha.
you?
28.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're not that far apart too. So I've
Right.
yeah. Awesome. Well, cool. Well, hey, you know what? You still got at least I have to say though. I mean, you're still both young, trying to figure out what we're trying to do, and basically, so yeah, cool. Well, as far as any updates going on too, you got the travel, got you really got done with the rally. You really got done with everything else. What else? I forgot to talk. I forgot to bring up. Oh, Politicon. I know you did went to Politicon in Nashville this year.
Yeah, national. Right.
Yeah. Because I noticed when you did the film, I know you'd like to do filming with the
Yeah.
phone. one thing I did notice, Ann Coulter is here. It was over there too as well. What do you
Yes,
think? What do you think about Ann Coulter? Mm-hmm.
I haven't followed her for that long,
Oh, okay.
but she had some good points that I agreed with.
Mm,
But yeah,
okay.
I have to look into her more.
Yeah, I mean she's not terrible. Like, but I know that she is somewhat she's popular with in one side, and then she's on very unpopular on one side. But if you listen to her like on
Yeah,
interviews on YouTube, you'll definitely understand what I'm talking about too. Because she's how do I put this in plain English? A straight shooter. She
yeah, right.
yeah, and that's why some people are very much against are very much against her too. Like I know my dad had her book. It was called Adios Amigo. That was something my dad had. He had one of her books, and said that I enjoyed her book a lot too.
Oh
I
yeah,
yeah, but I never read it because I wasn't like the biggest Ann Coulter fan to keep up with her. But in Adios Amigos, it talked about immigration, and that was kind of one of her books that talked into it. So yeah. Hmm.
yeah, I might have to read it.
Yeah, yeah. When you get the chance, you just got to as well. But let's see here. So as far as your followers too, like uh, so this is kind of my last question. It's like now with all the traveling you do you always get a lot of following back on like Instagram, and how are your Instagram followers? Do they react? Do they contact you a lot through DMs, things like that too?
Yeah, some of them do,
Oh,
and I
okay.
always try to reply back and be like, "Thank you," and stuff like that. And I actually like sometimes I keep losing followers, and then I start like sometime later I get new followers.
Hmm,
It's kind of not moving anywhere right now,
gotcha. Okay.
but it's always fun.
It's always fun. I mean, you there's growth that comes in and forth. So yeah, understand. Now as far as Julie's your other account, Julie's views,
Yeah,
you mostly do that a lot, probably with just like Trump moments, basically. So
exactly.
okay, cool. Well, yeah, I do enjoy like I have to say in all your Instagram, I do love to travel, but the memes are actually one of the best. I have to say, like the memes are always something.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It is so funny. Like I come over there a lot, and I always look back like the comments, and I remember one lady. She was so upset that you had the red hat. I was like, oh gosh, just reading back your old comments. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
this is incredible.
gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Well, anyways, it was awesome talking to you,
Yeah,
and I do hope that probably one day we can do this again later too. So, because
sure.
definitely I know you definitely got a busy work life right now. So, and I know you don't ever get the time to do interviews as much as you wanted to. So yeah,
Trying to work that out.
yeah. Well, oh, awesome though. But hey, I am a professional podcaster. So, but if you need some help with podcasting, if you ever do like podcasting or some sort of independent journalism, I could tell you how about setting up mics, things like that. So, if you want to go to that point, and if that's kind of your point in the future, if you want
Yeah,
there. So yeah,
it would be awesome.
yeah, because I've been working with computers since when I was like little,
That's
basically.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm always
you're an expert.
yeah, I'm an expert basically.
Yeah,
So I've
that's
always had to
very
help
cool.
people. So yeah, well, very cool. So well, hey, I'm gonna
Very
let you
much.
enjoy the clouds and sun and some sunshine that is. So
Yeah,
a
it's a little bit of fun.
little bit of sun. So, well, it's been a pleasure, Julie. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming to the podcast.
my
Leon the
pleasure.
Hey, so, but all right, guys. So if you want to follow up on her account on Instagram, yeah. So your Instagram account, you did change it recently. It is now Miss Marble Travels.
Yeah, I changed my name. It's now called Miss Mabel Travels.
Miss Mabel Travels.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is Miss Mabel Travels. MISSMABEL Travels. So yeah.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well,
Perfect.
Cool, cool. Well, thank you so much for dropping by. So you take care, and we'll be chatting more again in the future.
Oh yes, I hope so.
Awesome. Well, all right. Uh, well, I'll go. Let you go from now. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.